So why is Esri partnering with local governments in addressing climate change issues?
Well, let me take it first and then I'll pass it to Pat. But I think what we're trying to find out is what does a local government view as climate change as far as the issues that would affect them. There's a lot of things that happen as a global issue, where like sea rise level and the melting polar caps and what have you. But what is it? What is that local impact to a city who doesn't really look at it as climate change, but something that's impacting them that they have to deal with? It's like we heard today. You know, it's the senior citizens who are dealing with heat increases, or the fact that bears are coming down out of the mountains and now are wandering the town, so to speak, because they're looking for water and food and what have you. So it's really our relationship with local governments is to make climate local, and for us to serve those needs, so that our view is not always up here, but we're also looking down here. So there's that top-down and bottom approach of solving the world's problems. I don't know if you have anything.
Yeah, and I think just to add to that, climate change is a huge, complex problem, and the only way we're going to make progress in combating that is working on many fronts. As Chris was saying, top-down, bottom-up is the only way we're going to kind of pick away at that problem. The other reason I think it's important for Esri to get involved in this, not only is it the right thing to do, we have a very broad user base in local government, in state government, and if we can help find solutions and build these repeatable templates that we can work with a group like we did today with a dozen local governments and understand from a real practical perspective what they need, then we can follow that mantra of build it once and use many times. So we can put it out there, have it be shared, and other local governments can pick up on it also. So not everybody's starting from scratch and reinventing the wheel.
Okay, so what are 2 to 3 ways that local governments can take the lead in integrating GIS technology into their climate change and resilience efforts?
I'll take a stab at the first phase. I think one is they need to communicate very clearly to their departments, to citizens, and people would end up building applications as an example of what their problems are. A lot of times there's not a dialogue between these different groups. They meet independent of each other, and they talk about amongst each other, and so a dialogue continues, but sometimes real solutions don't come in place. So that's number one. Number two, I think that there's some discussion about people taking leadership, people becoming the guinea pig, so to speak, of getting out there and testing the waters. Sometimes you just got to be that person. So number two is be that guinea pig, be that, I guess, canary is what they call it, as far as the person that is going to be out there and be willing to see, you know, what works and what doesn't work. And I think the third is encourage people, your staff, your community, to actually, you know, be innovative on their own. Don't always wait for management to come to you and ask for things to be developed. Sometimes it's just that open outward expression that experimenting and giving some time set aside to do that has value in of itself.
And I'd say another one, if we could build on what Chris just said, that you know, success breeds success. So when you have a little success, you know, spread the word, show it off. You know, publish it out, make these story maps, communicate what you're doing, so you start to build momentum so you can do more of it. You come up with, might spur some other ideas, but sharing the little successes that you've had can help lead to newer successes. So I think, don't be afraid. Don't think you've got to have everything figured out and everything perfect before you kind of jump in and do something, and claim success when you have it.
What are you most excited about in moving forward collaborating with local governments in efforts to increase resilience in climate change and natural disaster situations?
For me personally, what I'm excited about, and this is that we're actually getting a dialogue happening, and there's actually solutions being found, whether we build it, whether, you know, somebody who's always had this idea and they put it from their thought process into, I guess, from not to paper but to computer. They build these things that we are actually seeing at a more rapid rate real solutions to these problems. And what excites me about working in this environment on climate change and the way that we've decided to do this with an organization like ICMA is we're able to move from idea to solution at a much faster pace. We could be having a lab environment where we keep trying things, show it, get a reaction. Now we're able to get the thought process, get some reactions, show it, change it, push it right back out in a much shorter period of time. And to me, that's the most exciting thing that we've seen come out of this whole relationship and the dialogue of people saying, climate change will never affect me, to, well, hey, wait a minute, it does. And now you have two peers talking to each other about asking them to think about it a little bit differently.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think it is this enabling platform that's making it easier. The tools have gotten easier. There's much more data than we've ever had available. We've got the sensor networks. We've got a whole movement of open data and governments sharing their data and putting them, and then having this platform, this collaborative platform that Esri's been building. We can put that together. We've got easier tools, we've got an enabling platform, and we've got more data than we've ever had before. Some might say too much data in some cases, but I think we've got tools to sift through that to make that data really inform decision making and become actionable information. So I think we're really there at a point where we can start to see real tangible progress in that quick turnaround time, as Chris was saying.
Absolutely. Okay. Are there any other takeaways from today's event or surprising things that you heard during the exercise?
I think the most exciting thing that I heard today was that the executives that were here, the city managers that were here, wanted to mentor other cities. The other was that they wanted to have a dialogue with their staff that was unique and different. They wanted to have as one gentleman put it, I'd like to have a dialogue with somebody I typically don't talk to more than once or twice a year. And I think those things are the things that always out of these that come out of these that are super exciting, that there's a promise of something new, and you're reconnecting people that they work together every day at the same location, but they have something new to talk about.
Yeah, and I think maybe my takeaway might be that I think they see this meeting as the beginning and not just a one-day event. That I think they feel like they were able to contribute their ideas, come in as we asked them, what is it in a practical way that would help you make your city more resilient, more sustainable in the future? And I think they saw this as the start, something we can build on, and they'll see the fruits of their labor as time goes by and we launch some other activities around this, building on the outcomes here.